Robbie Benson, one-on-one. One-on-one. That was horrendous. I mean, and such a cliched, flawed movie that was just pedantically slow in terms of pace. You knew exactly what was going to happen. I mean, who didn't think that Benson was going to star in the championship game at the end of that movie? It would have been a better movie if he got hurt and never, he left the court.
You're like rooting for him to get hurt.
Some imagination if you're writing one of these scripts, no?
Like, oh, wow, they did it. There was a twist. I didn't see that coming.
Who thought he was going to fall flat on his face and the coach was going to say, you know what? I told you were awful and you should have been on the team in the first place. I should have revoked your scholarship. You're a jerk.
He's down on his luck and becomes a drug addict. You're like, wow, that movie took a turn. What a great movie.
What a movie. It would have been a better movie if Hillary Swank had checked out after she got hit with the head with the chair, which, not even Richard Steele would have allowed that to go on. Steve Smoger, who would have a guy, I nicknamed Steve Smoger the boxing referee, let him bleed. This guy would be bleeding from every pore, and the Smoger going, yeah, one more round. That's it, kid. If you don't show me something here, I'm going to have to stop it. Steve, this fight should have been stopped when he came out of the dressing room. What are you talking about?
He's like passing out.
Guy's getting a transfusion in the corner, and Smoker's going, okay, man. He's telling Emmanuel Stewart, I'll give you guy one more round. That's it.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
All right, very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you. Today's edition of the Defo Show as we kind of dive into the week there after that 3-day weekend. Threw my system into a little state of discombobulation, Lubie, because I didn't realize that yesterday was Tuesday already. It's already freaking Wednesday. And we're off and running. And you got your wish, or it's as close to being reality as you could possibly imagine. And I can only think that you're salivating, Mike Lubie Lubitz, at the failure of the New York Knicks to win last week's game. You can't wait. I'm sure you trolled many Knicks fans that are in your circle of friends and acquaintances, even guys you didn't know. You were saying, hey, you know what? Bill Bradley sucked also. He couldn't have sank a three. His range wasn't that broad. Wow. Okay, so they lose to the Indiana Pacers. I don't know that was unanticipated. The Pacers were laying 2.5 points in that ball game, so they covered the point spread rather handily. Seemed to seize control at what point? Did they ever not have control in that game, Lubie? I think the Knicks came back at one point and actually led. Is that not true? Around the 61-point mark, somewhere in there. Over players were rejoicing from the opening minutes as the Pacers put up, 43 points in the first quarter? And all you had to do was eclipse a number of 219 or something like that. This game goes into the 250s as the Pacers win it 130-121, leaving you thinking, what, Mike Lubitz? Are you gloating? Are you just provoking and prompting these Knicks fans to spew the usual social media hatred in your direction via Instagram and various other forms of social communication? What do you think?
I'm not hammering anyone. I know how it feels to be a fan of a team that anytime you get a little bit of hope punches you in the face, a la the Dolphins. So I just give the Knicks fans almost credit that they can be that delusional. Like I get the first two games they controlled, but they then lost. And then they go to Indiana, they find a way to fight back themselves and get a win. And the whole world, like, oh, here they come. And I'm like, here they come. They're on death's door. Like, have you watched, every time you watch the Knicks play, their guys are so gassed. Like the Tom the Murderer Thibodeau thing is real. And you see it, these other teams just roll out so many more guys. It's and then on top of that, they're asking Karl Anthony Towns to be a defender. He's such an atrocious defender. He gets in foul trouble anytime he tries to defend because he has no idea what he's doing on defense at all. Brunson, same thing. You're asking him to play defense. He has no idea what he's doing. So the last game he got in foul trouble. This game he didn't get in foul trouble. He just was abused defensively. It's just.
What wasn't Thibodeau though supposed to be this defensive guy? I mean, 130 is not exactly.
No. I mean,
playing solid defense with your five guys who are going hardcore with Josh Hart running all over the place. Kind of unusual to see what's happening because. They're in stark contrast to the MO that their coaches displayed throughout his career, which was this tough, hard-nosed defense. You're giving up a lot of points to the Pacers. I don't know that this was unanticipated, Lubie. the Pacers winning the series. As we said, I'm really not sure that any of this matters. Is there not enough money going around that the NBA as a league doesn't have to worry that they're going to be represented by two nondescript cities that you would never, ever have, ever? Like if you won on a quiz show, you're on Wheel of Fortune and say, you're going to Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, geez.
You tell them to shove that certificate right up Pat Sajak's rear end. I mean, forget about it. No one wants to go there. And who the hell plans a vacation around? Hey, you know where we're going? The wife and I haven't been to Oklahoma City in a few years. We're going back.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of that, do you? So does that really matter? I don't know. I mean, people always talk about that. I love to bring it up because it seems like such a nonsensical thing in the long run. But you would have to think ratings, which television ratings, are they? Listen, radio ratings were the most bogus thing that ever was created. It was created strictly so the services that derive these statistics could make money. I mean, they were stealing from these radio stations, robbing them blind to try and rank them. And who the hell knew what they were listening to? I mean, can you remember? I don't remember any of what I used to do as a radio listener. Do you? To where you could document it, and then they came out with the real cockamamie system where they had people wearing devices, looked like an ankle bracelet, and it would record what you were listening to. So you would get in an elevator, get stuck on the 32nd floor of a building, and the elevator music station was the one that would get gigantic returns because you were listening to this thing for like more than an hour, which was unusual in and of itself. But the TV ratings, are they going to suffer if the New York Knicks are not part of this, Lubie? Do you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Again, the NBA isn't what it was. The finals isn't must watch. The Knicks would bring a presence that would definitely draw eyeballs that may not pay attention to a Thunder Pacers series. Look, again, like we talked about it, when the Thunder in 2010 were in the finals versus the Miami Heat, people didn't talk about it as a small market. You had three burgeoning stars in Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and then James Harden was a bench guy, but he was already showing some ability.
Yeah.
But people didn't talk about them being, oh, this team no one wants to watch. They were a really fun, wide open team. When you look at the Thunder now, their one star is SGA, and he became a star this year. Like 2 years ago, he sort of was interesting. Last year, he became a good player, but people didn't know who the hell he was. This was the first year the commercials started last year where people saw the commercials and go, oh, I think that's SGA. Like, that's the only guy they have in their whole team that anyone knows. Like, Holmgren, if you watch college basketball, you sort of know. Like, no one else on the roster is known by anyone, and no one else on the roster really should be. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the roster are a bunch of guys that together, they're the kind of team that's...
You're leaving out the Larry Bird, the man that glues this whole team together. Alex Caruso.
Oh, Caruso. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's got the Slick Watts headband with a bald head. I always love a headband with a bald head. It's one of my favorite looks in the NBA.
It's like old school NBA. So I don't know. Look, this Thunder is that. This Thunder is just like an unknown team that was put together and is fought through, but no one knows who the hell they are. That's not like an NBA head or like a big time a media person. And the Pacers. I mean, again, that's a small market team with a very similar background. Like Halliburton's a nice star, but no one knows who the hell he is. And then the rest of that team is a bunch of randoms that just work together. Yeah, the Knicks are literally the thing that was going to save the NBA Finals, but that's not how it works. I mean, we've had finals with Spurs versus Nets, like the second team of a city. You know, like we've had finals with weird.
Spurs had their stars though back in the day. I mean, they certainly did with Duncan and
they had players. Yeah.
All of these, people that sort of became Ginobili. Actually, it became a household name for everybody except the track announcer Trevor Denman, who is usually, I mean, always was considered and was one of my favorites for a long time, too. I just loved the South African accent that he displayed and had an interesting vocabulary, not the typical vernacular you would get, although track announcers certainly have expanded their horizons in that regard from the simplicity you used to get back in the day with like a Marshall Cassidy or somebody like that. Even Fred Capicello, it was fairly straightforward. But Trevor Denman was pronouncing there's a horse named after Manu Ginobili, and Trevor Denman called him, and I don't know if he did this more than once. He kept calling him Gino Billy. which became kind of a big joke around racing circles. But even Ginobili, right, became a household name with the Spurs there. So they were identifiable, and they seemed to be kind of a good bunch. You enjoyed watching them play basketball together. That was also part of it. I don't know. Can we really define exactly what either of these teams do well? I mean, obviously they score. High flying act when it comes to scoring. So you figure they're shooting threes, but interesting construction. This Sam Presti, was he the executive of the year? I believe he was the general manager of the year at Oklahoma City. And I didn't realize this that they actually dealt. SGA came as part of a deal when they traded away
Paul
Paul
George.
George. Wow.
Yeah, it was the Paul George deal with Paul George and a ton of draft picks.
Yes.
Paul George went to them, a ton of draft picks went to them, and the one part was SGA. SGA was like a nice young player that they thought would be a rotation guy and could be a legit starter.
And where's that trade at now? They also got Jalen Williams as one of the draft picks there. And then they like bungled the draft pick away. They tanked for a couple of years. Kind of an interesting route that they took to this. So Lubie, and you know me, I bristle at the whole concept of tanking. I just absolutely despise it, and wish there was a way to sort of legislate it out of the game. I guess the lottery does some of that, but not enough, right?
I don't know.
And then we don't know, are we dealing with rigged lotteries there? But all that being said, Oklahoma City, they've assembled a hell of a roster that it runs deep, as is the case with Indiana.
Yep.
And it does appear, I mean, how about me for making this brilliant mathematical deduction, Lubie, that being down 3-1 not favorable for either the Knicks or the Minnesota Timberwolves. So where does it end, Lubie? Does it end tonight with Minnesota?
Oh,
Going
yeah.
back to OKC for a game 5?
That's
What
done.
chance do they have? 8.5 point dogs.
That's done. That series done. The T-Wolves had their shot. They beat the crap out of OKC, and then they lost the next. I mean, the Thunder are just the Nuggets were the one team that could play with the Thunder, and they did. They took them to 7, and then the Thunder dispatched them in 7. I don't know if there's people are going to take them as this dynastic. I don't know about that. They have a lot of names that no one's ever heard of, and they're not guaranteed to become these stars. Like everyone just assumes, well, they're going to become stars. No, that doesn't work that way. I think they're the team this year. I think this year the Thunder are just on a roll, and they're playing really good basketball. And even when they throw in a clunker, they don't even care. They come back the next game and just wave it off. I mean, once they got past the Nuggets, to me, they were just going to walk through, and I think they'll win that series in 5. The Knicks will probably win at home, the Garden. They'll get all excited, blah blah blah, and then in Game 6, the Pacers will do what they did last night. What they've done a lot of this series. I mean, when the Knicks were up big, the Pacers were always hanging around. The 2 games in Indiana, yeah, the Pacers screwed around in the second, third quarter. But last night, Carlisle almost did it again. He kept Halliburton out to like the 8.5-minute mark, and the Knicks started to make a little bit of a move. And Carlisle wouldn't, which is why I give him credit, learned from Game 3, put Halliburton in, and that was the end of it. The Knicks never made a push again, and the Pacers kept around a double-digit lead. And the Knicks looked lost, and the Pacers looked like they figured everything out. I feel like when you get to a finals, either of these teams would lose in 5 to the T-Wolves. Like,
all right.
I mean, to the Thunder, sorry,
the Thunder, yeah. Halliburton, 32, 12, 15, 4 steals, and no turnovers in the ballgame. So pretty impressive there. Keep trying to, it's one thing when you were talking about the Ant-Man, and his emergence as a star, and it's always one of those things. It's Kyle Korver syndrome for me. That just as I'm about to embrace that and say, yeah, this guy is the next big star in the league, he goes out and lays in a stinker out there, and that happens to be the time that I'm zeroed in on a guy, thinking, hey, look how great this guy is. The highlight reels are exceptional. Where does Halliburton fit in that category? I'm not sure. I don't know that we need to put a label on it, but this game last night, if you weren't familiar with Indiana, which do we refuse to familiarize ourselves with the Indiana Pacers, Lubie, just because it's freaking Indianapolis? I mean, no one would ever go there under any circumstances. Even if you were from there, wouldn't you want to run away? What do you think, Lubie? Am I being like Trumpian here and talking about?
We were there. It's Minnesota.
The people are really nice, Lubie. The people are that can always be
nice. The Minnesota was more lively than Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis was.
Imagine it.
Supposed to be a city. We were there. It's not It's not.
There wasn't crap going on. We couldn't even find anything to get in trouble with. Nothing.
It's
Not
not.
that we were inclined to do that, in my old age of traveling around as any kind of supposed member of the journalistic field. Um, but yeah, you would come out of that hotel there and think, there's nothing going on here. Zero.
I think there was
Was that
nothing.
the backboard that Larry Bird used to shoot on? Okay. And that's like the monument there that symbolizes and epitomizes what the city's all about. And that's about it. Some hick from French Lick shooting buckets off the barn door. and a restaurant that's known for a shrimp cocktail. What the hell is that? Nothing. All right, tonight's the night, Lubie. Or is it?
I hope. Yeah, it would be nice.
Panthers, Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals. Panthers up 3-1. They took the first three games and annihilated the Carolina Hurricanes, who came out. What cliche you want to throw on that one? Sense of purpose? Sense of urgency? What kind of sense did they have? They had a sense that if they lost that game, they were going to be on vacation. And they played was it a combination of Carolina actually putting together its best game by far and the Panthers just being off? I mean, they didn't have a great night, the Florida Panthers, in that game.
It feels like both. Look, the Hurricanes were vastly more aggressive on the defensive side. They weren't just letting the Panthers skate free. And the Panthers screwed around. I mean, they just did. Like the thing that we saw in the Maple Leaf series, like they get to this thing where they try to overpass it and they try to be too pretty. And in that third period in game 3, it worked, right? It was the kind of stuff where you wish to see in soccer or hockey, where you would get to see a great pass connect for a great shot for a great goal. But that's rare. Like in playoff hockey, usually the defense is all in your face. So it's all about just getting the puck at the net, getting opportunities to get the puck in the net. And that's how they played the first 2 games. The third game, it was a more free, wide open style, but you had to know the Hurricanes weren't going to allow that. The Hurricanes were very aggressive. They were in their face, and the Panthers were playing with the puck. I mean, they were doing what you always talk about. They were getting cute. They really were, and it was annoying to watch. And Mayo was at the game, and he said, yeah, you could see it. Like there were times where they had the shot there, and people were around the net, and they would try to make an extra pass, and then it would get blocked. The Hurricanes played good enough defense where they couldn't get away with that. So I hope they looked at film and realized, yeah, you just got to go ball to the wall. Like that's when they're their best, is when they're just flying around defensively and flying around offensively. And even when a team turns it up, like we saw versus Maple Leafs, other teams don't have an answer for them because other teams go 1-2 lines deep. They go 3 to 4 lines deep. Like when they're just bringing their intensity, no one can play. No one, even the Oilers, and that's why they got to a 3-0 lead. The problem is, as we've seen in this now 3-year run, and maybe this is all teams, like even the Thunder lost by 40. Like they throw in a game here and there where it's like they don't get pushed around, but they're not themselves. Like you can see that they're not just going full blast, and that Hurricanes were. The Hurricanes played a very aggressive game, and they only scored a goal. It's not like they beat the Panthers.
All that being said, I mean it's 1-0 with about 3 minutes to go.
Yeah. The Panthers, I'm not nervous about anything. It's just we've seen this team do this. But they're usually good about the next game saying, okay.
I love this aspect of it because as we've always maintained, and I believe this to be 1,000% true, every game is pivotal in the postseason. Game 1 is pivotal, 2, pivotal, 3, pivotal, and this certainly is pivotal because you're either pivoting out of the playoffs and going on vacation, as they say, or you're pivoting right back into the series here and putting at least.
Yeah, there's some pressure.
Don't you want to see your guy go down swinging? Like, he doesn't have to be Ricardo Mayorga talking about, I will kill your mother and your children as he's getting knocked out. Yeah, you don't need that. But, you want to go down swinging. So we'll see if Carolina can bring it tonight and what level of, as you say, assertiveness, Lubie. Very, very astute observations on the hockey. I'm proud of you, kid. Really am.
I've been watching it intently and stressfully.
But you picked it up. To the point where, like every American fan, you can be super critical of things that prior to this and viewing a couple of games would have been completely foreign material. You would not be talking about cross checks and things of that nature and getting cute with the puck in front of the net. Which, by the way, speaking of being in front of the net, and I hope this works out because you always hope that the person realizes what it was that you were saying about being on the show. But coming up 10 o'clock today, I'm going to talk some hoops with Eric Reed, who, of course, is the Heat play-by-play announcer. And has observed all of these teams and the way they've been comprised. So we'll talk to him about what's left in the postseason in the NBA. And then Dino Ciccarelli supposed to join us, Hall of Famer in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Who doesn't remember Ciccarelli? And now he spent his last 2 seasons. He was in the league 19 years, Lubie. So it wasn't like he was at his very best when he was a Florida Panther. But he still was annoying as bleep because he was always in front of the goal. I don't know. What, was he hacking away at the goalie's pads with his stick the whole time, Lubie? What the hell was this guy doing? Because he had an unbelievable, can you call it a knack? An unbelievable skill in terms of deflecting pucks into the net. Scored 608 goals. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, what are the odds he's keeping up with contemporary hockey, Lubie? Is that going to be one of those things where you go, hey, what do you think about the postseason? Well, who's in it?
Like he probably keeps an eye on it in the sense
Follow
that
it,
he
right?
knows
Yeah.
what's going on. I don't know if he's watching every night. I can't tell you if he can break down the series, but he probably seen Panthers over the years. He's probably seen the Hurricanes over the years, Oilers. Like he could probably talk about the teams in general. I don't know if he's watching
these
every
guys
night.
pay attention. No, seems like it's. I mean, talk about cliches. Is it not in their blood, Lubie?
Oh
Now,
yeah,
some of them consume so much alcohol in their, unfortunately, in their post career and celebration of what they did that it's probably a bit of a wash, right? Literally, their memory about the game and their ability to follow it. But no, I think they stay with it. I'm going to assume that this is going to go well. That it won't be one of those things, Louis, where it's like one question and then we start talking about his days with the Red Wings. What do you think? All right, we're going to go all school here. Tony Segreto set to join us, and we're wondering what part of the country Tony will be joining us from.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Oh yeah, what's
more
happening?
weeks.
I leave in 13 days.
Oh, okay. I thought you were out the door. All right.
No.
Very good.
Morning. Good morning. How are you?
Morning, Mr.
We're
Segreto.
good.
How you doing,
Good. We're doing all right. We're very excited about things that are going on in the sporting world. And
Why not? Why not? Oh my God, it's so exciting, so exciting. And the Panthers will do it tonight.
Oh,
you believe that? Okay. Wait a minute. Let me call my bookie.
Yeah, mark it down.
Hey, Louie. Yeah, everything on Carolina.
Right.
No, I mean, well, I mean, they've dominated the series for the most part. They threw in a stinker, Tony, the last time. So, okay, what makes you believe that?
Well, first of all, how many? Let's really break it down. In the last 10 years, we'll say 10 years. When have you seen? How many times have you seen a 4-0 run?
No, never. The 3-0s never. That's why the Edmonton Oilers were going to be one of the first team to do it against these Panthers.
so throw that in, and the Panthers are so good. They have 4 lines deep, like Lubie said. I mean, their third line can beat the Hurricanes.
It has been.
Wow, Tony, talking trash here. I mean,
Segreto.
I'm just being truthful. I'm just being truthful.
I hope you're right, man. That made me
portraying the Carolina Hurricanes as rank amateurs. I don't know if Brindamore is going to buy that, Tony. Wouldn't it be something if we
when
saw?
I'm going to drive around North Carolina.
Exactly.
Showed a clip of this, this video stream here, and they said, "Here's world-renowned sportscaster Tony Segreto saying the Carolina Hurricanes ain't bleep." Wow.
They ain't bleep.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, they
pretty
have
good.
their merits. Come on. Look, they got blown out, though, in the first 3 games. And even at their best versus what looked like a stinkeroo, as Lubie was alluding to with the Panthers, there's still life and death to win that game.
Yeah.
The final score was 2 empty netters there at the end. Same thing happened with Edmonton last night. So are you in favor of this rematch, Tony Segreto, as they run it back from the 7-game series from a year ago for the Stanley Cup, Edmonton and the Panthers?
I'm going to have to be.
Yeah, well,
that's what you're going to get. Yeah.
The Oilers are just cruising in right now.
You give any of these teams a chance. It seems like none of us would. Any of these teams. There are 4 teams, and they're all in the same situation where they're down 3-1. Do any of the teams that are trailing in the series bounce back and win 3 in a row? Basketball or hockey?
The Stars would be the closest thing to me because the Stars were the team that everyone loved going in. And even then, the Oilers are playing really good. It's hard to fathom any of
Hard
it.
to see him losing 3 in a row.
I guess the Knicks maybe because the Knicks are physical
Knicks.
and I mean of the 4 teams, of the 4 situations, I don't think the T-Wolves have a chance. I think the Thunder are just going to beat everybody.
Yeah.
The Stars
the Thunder are so good.
They're just smart. They just play well, and again, they don't get too high or too low, which is hard. It's rare for a young team to be that. They're very savvy for a young team, like they really are, and they don't even really have many young.
They're taking good advice from the players that have been there, unlike other players.
Yeah. The Knicks are the one team. Look, the Knicks play tough defense. The Knicks have been in all the games. They haven't gotten even the game they were getting blown out. They recovered in the
Knicks are a year ahead.
That's what I know Joe Beja was thinking. They may be true. I just know of the 4 teams, the Knicks probably have the best chance. I don't see any of them doing it. I just think it's a 3-1 hole is really tough.
I love the comeback from down 3-1.
I know.
I love to see it. No, I really do. I don't know that anyone's going to do it though. I don't know if I agree with Lubie because I think Indiana, if they don't close it out at the Garden, which is a distinct possibility, I can't see them losing that game 6 at home. But when that happens, it really creates a lot of excitement. So I'm hoping it occurs at least.
Who are you putting your money on, Defo?
It looks like Chalk City, doesn't it? Oklahoma City in basketball. And look, at this point, you have to go all in rooting for the Panthers, no?
Oh, yeah.
Would
be wonderful if they could do
all
this.
in.
Any self-respecting South Floridian would have to say, back when you guys now. Yeah.
How, we're excited that they're in it for the 3rd time. But this is the 3rd straight year that they're going to be playing Edmonton.
No, 2nd straight year.
No.
2nd straight year.
They got an
They lost to Las Vegas.
2 years ago. We want to forget it.
Well, they were crushed like a grape. I
I wanted to forget it. But how many times, can you see it over?
When Wayne Newton bangs that drum, how can you forget it? I love that.
Danke schön.
Yeah, Newton was really swinging the hammer like he was ready to fight Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, God.
It was great. But, I know I like the atmosphere there. I've never been to a game there. That would be one place I'd want to see a hockey game.
Me either.
Yeah, in Las Vegas. That would be awesome. But, Edmonton, they're running it back. I don't know. Is that good? If you were looking for the championship, or is Edmonton one of those teams that they still are killing themselves over losing it last year?
See, as hockey goes, they're not great at putting up their stars, but McDavid and Draisaitl are 2 of the dudes have been good at least making sure people know. And the Panthers now with 3 years of this and people hate them because they're very physical. Like that's the kind of thing for a sport that's fledgling like hockey that you would hope would bring some eyeballs. That series was literally back and forth 3-3, but that game 7 was a freaking war. And I remember people who even don't watch hockey were into that game. Again, it's good to have a Canadian team in there because they carry the sport a lot of the time. So yeah, I know it's annoying, like, and Tony's alluding it to, and I guess you are too, Deep, for that, like to see the same team over and over again. I would hope they don't do this a 3rd time, but look, the series ended up being really cool. It went to 7. I'm not happy to see them because I think they're, like you just said, I think they're carrying a torch, a literal axe to come after the Panthers. And I don't know how hungry the Panthers will be again. Once you've won, it's hard to repeat. This team wants it. And a Canadian team hasn't won it in like 20 something years, or is it 30? I think the Canadians themselves won in the early 90s. I think that's the last Canadian team to win a Stanley Cup. So like the whole freaking country will be on their back. So I'm not excited to play the Oilers, but it just feels like the 2 of these teams are right now the 2 best, most fun, most exciting teams in the sport. And opposite of NBA, that's what you sort of want for the NHL.
That'll be a great. It'll be a must-watch TV.
Yeah, it just feels like it. It feels like people outside of hockey will watch that series.
All right. We are going to take a timeout. Come back on a little old school with Tony Segreto. That's coming up in just a moment here. Back with Tony and Old School. Now that. The time. It's 8:39.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-45.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
All right, welcome back to the show. Good to be with you here. We have Tony Segreto. We're going to old school, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Mike Lubitz up there in a striped shirt in box number 1. And Tony at the bottom of your screen here. Still coming to you from South Florida, which I thought surely you were long gone, Tony Segreto. And
I was going to be, but my son is getting engaged.
Oh, yeah, wow. Congratulations.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I love that you're telling it here. It's like you guys alluding to the pregnancy for weeks. Oh, one day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a boy. Oh, boy. So he on the 13th, and so we're waiting to go up for that. So
okay, sounds good. And he's here, you're saying?
No, he's in Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. All right.
So he's doing a whole thing. So to go all the way up and come back makes sense.
Makes some sense. All right, Tony. Yeah, because
And I've got all the liquor placed aside.
how much are you going to be drinking? I mean, you know the girl?
Including the pecan whiskey that we got from
It's nice with that.
Bash.
It's a dynamite spot. All right. So are you among the legions that are anti-New York teams, having been here in the South Florida market forever?
Oh no, I'm all in.
New Yorker.
You're all in. Okay, well, that's right. You're a giant, fan of the New York Yankees, no doubt.
I'm a Jersey guy.
But you don't root for the Giants or the Jets, do you? It couldn't possibly root for the Jets. And
don't root for the Jets. Root for the Giants.
Okay, so you're a Giant. Okay, that makes
Giants,
sense.
Knicks, Rangers.
Oh, Yankees. Yeah, I guess it's true.
Come on.
That all follows the line. All right. So
Patterson, New Jersey. Now, Patterson is right, northern New Jersey.
Not the greatest neighborhood, Tony.
No, isn't Patterson?
Patterson is like, where Reuben Hurricane Carter grew up.
Well, diners galore.
Yeah.
And, I got to tell you.
Cops, apparently, also.
I presume Tony didn't.
Yeah, like some real.
We're in Jersey for an event.
Yeah.
And Joey is looking at me and goes, man, what are with these diners? I said to Joey, you've never been to a diner? He says, what are they?
He doesn't know what a Jersey.
I said, let's go. And he was blown away. Blown away.
400-page menu.
Travel the world.
A loose leaf binder.
Diner.
And pretty all good. Pretty much all good.
Yeah, that's what a diner is. Everything's okay. Yeah, good.
3 a.m, you're in there, and one person's having pancakes, the other's having a meatloaf.
Omelet or meatloaf.
It's not quite a Waffle House.
You can get a Euro, chicken Parmesan.
I go into a Waffle House on a trip, and I was so stupid.
Really? You're not a fan?
No. I had a brain fart. I walk in, I go, do you have waffles here?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh wow, yeah, that probably was an appropriate question. I bet they never heard that before.
No.
I don't know if anyone ever eats the waffles there, but they have.
This was recently.
It's amazing how many there are. It's amazing.
Waffle House.
I mean, I could get by, going to Waffle Houses. I would be all right with that. I like greasy potatoes,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. And yeah, I like a little stench with my breakfast. I really do. All right, so I mean, how did you deal with this over the years, Tony? I know I had to deal with it, and it wasn't easy because I also had New York ties, of course, growing up there, and rooted for New York teams as a child. I wouldn't say that I get overly emotionally involved with any of them now, but and after being in South Florida, is it just the sun beats it out of you? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it depends on who you are. I mean, I'm a diehard. I live and die with the Yankees.
Yes, you do. I've noticed that when the Yankees were in the World Series last year, you were all in. All right, but during your broadcasting career here,
I couldn't.
certainly you had to have many people like that. The minute you mentioned you couldn't wear a New York Yankee hat.
Oh
Even
no,
you got it from DiMaggio himself.
no. So I had my Vermont gear
Yeah,
and my South Florida gear, right?
right.
So all my Vermont gear was Yankees
But
and things like that.
they must resent
And
that there.
then, huh?
They're all Red Sox fans.
That's
There.
got to be Red Sox territory.
Well, you have a lot of guts to wear.
Yeah,
that.
he doesn't care. Yeah, he's Tony. He's like, screw you, Red Sox fan.
I proudly wear it. I was in the grocery store up there, and I was wearing my Yankee hat, and another guy walks around the aisle, and he's got a Yankee hat. He goes, "Man, you feel like you're the enemy here." I said,
Yeah.
I said, if we take it off here, we'll never see it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you got served. Actually, maybe
Yeah,
served
Tony
with some kind of
Segreto.
lawsuit for wearing inappropriate attire in a New England
My
store.
God.
Yeah. All right. That's interesting. So you shrugged this off when the people used to bait you about New York teams here and
Oh yeah.
how like you were
And
a homer for the Knicks, which was always that was a very stern accusation somebody would make, and then they would hang up. You're a shill for the Knicks, DeForest. Why don't you go back to New York?
Go back to New York and you hang up. That's true. They always
I don't know what to say, Arnie, but
I like living here. And I'm
probably
not,
right.
It's funny because the people who say go back to New York are the people from New York.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all New Yorkers.
Want
now.
you to go back for them because
exactly.
they prefer to.
Come on. We'll
All
all
right, so
go.
no resentment. Lubie, he has not been able to avoid a deep-rooted desire to just trash any New York team. So he is hoping that the Knicks get eliminated in embarrassing fashion in the upcoming game.
What happened, Lubie? Why?
I'm just from here. I don't know. Like our rivals were always like in the whatever you want to say for the Marlins, they were always bad, but the Mets were in their division. So I hated the Phillies, I hated the Braves, I hated the Mets. The Jets, for whatever they were, the Dolphins and the Jets always had their thing. Yes, I hated the Bills more because the Bills would just make us sad every year. But
you hate Jim Kelly.
I didn't care that he was a Cane. He was a Bill, and literally, I had nightmares about the Bills in the 90s. Anytime the Dolphins had a decent team, it's like, oh, yay, the Bills. So like, but the Jets were just annoying, and so it was. That built a strong hatred. The Yankees, they just won all the time. So that just got annoying. Like the fact that they just won. Because the Yankees, before they won all the time, I didn't mind them. Like that Wetland, young Mariano, young Jeter team was fun. Like I liked that team. And I hated the Braves. But then they started winning. Like once a team starts dominating, unless you're a fan of them, it's annoying, as an opposing fan.
I can still see Thurman Thomas.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Going into the end zone every time.
How could you hate Jim Kelly? Because he played with Andre Reed, and I knew that team better than the Dolphins team. Cornelius Bennett, Steve Tasker, Darryl Talley, Mecklenburg, the whole offensive line, their tight ends, James Lofton. Oh my God, that team, you would be so excited. The Dolphins would have this great run, and then it would be the Bills. It's like, oh my God.
Mention the Bills to Dan Marino.
Oh my
You may
God.
as well tell him, hey, you know what, Danny boy, if you would only want a ring.
Exactly. That's like the same thing.
Thanks for switching the Bills of that
No.
era. Wow.
No.
Bruce Smith, I mean, just in your
Smith, I
face.
hated Bruce Smith. Oh my God.
And you know what? He and Bruce, they're the best of friends off the field.
Seems like a very nice
Yeah,
man.
he was a really good guy, actually.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He is a very nice man.
He went through a transformation when he was on the field. I don't know. Maybe he was very polite about just torpedoing
Holy crap.
quarterback right in the midsection and putting him out of the game. And he would politely then say, hey, sorry. No, he had a great smile, Bruce Smith. He seemed like a really good guy.
He was a good guy. He was a great, great guy.
Yeah. 4 straight losses in Super Bowls, though. I mean, it's a shame that's a stigma. It really is. Because
you see Jim Kelly and you just want give him a ring, but he just doesn't want it that way.
No.
I mean, a couple of them were not close, but then they had their chances.
The Giants won. It was like a 30-something yarder. Like a boots at 30.
Eli Manning. Was that the where he completed some impossible pass?
He held the football.
No,
he held the football against his helmet.
That was the Patriots. Norwood. I'm talking about Norwood, who boots the field goal with the Giants.
Oh yeah.
That was with LT and the squad, and the Bills actually outplayed them most of the game, and then they boot the freaking field goal. I mean, the Redskins Super Bowl was really close. It was the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys Super Bowls were a disaster. The Cowboys just.
Poor Marv Levy, man. No, he just checked out, didn't he? I don't want to put him in his grave if he isn't there, but I believe he did. Did he check out, Marv Levy? Is he still around? Marv Levy. Very distinguished gentleman. Didn't really fit the prototype, Tony, of an NFL coach. But
he's alive. He's 99. God bless him.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
That's what it is.
He and Shula, I mean, just personified dignity.
Oh, yeah. No, he was always.
He seemed, very cool. And was always decent and sort of accommodating to the press. I don't know that he said anything that was particularly outrageous one way or another, but he was always very accommodating in that regard. 4 straight losses, though. Wow, I mean that's a tough tag to. It's like the first thing you think of when you think of the Buffalo Bills, isn't it?
100%.
4 straight Super Bowls,
and then Josh Allen, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm with Lubie though. Those days, very exciting. The build up to those games between the Dolphins and the Bills.
Oh my God!
And very deflating to watch.
We would do specials.
Yeah,
hour-long specials on the game. I mean, it was. You're
bringing in like Bob Soper to give some analysis. Weatherman.
Bob Soper, Earl Weaver. I mean, Bob Weaver.
Yeah, Bob Weaver the weatherman. But he was ahead of his time because he would have given gambling advice on the game. So you know what? Here's what I'm thinking: it's minus 3 degrees in Buffalo, and the Bills minus 3 looks pretty appealing to me.
I've said this over and over on this show, but it bears repeating. I can't. Night after night, Weaver would stick his head in my office and go, "Who do you want?"
Oh yeah, wow. I thought he was telling you it's time to go to the dog track because that's always great. When you're thinking, this poor schlep has to go like for 5 hours now between the 6 and 11.
He would go to the dog track.
Study weather, to give his next report, and the guy's out there rooting. Come on, puppy dog too.
He'd go and he'd have his pipe, and he'd be looking at the chart.
Yeah,
he'd go up and bet. I mean, he was classic.
Yeah, it was vintage Miami, and of course commemorated and brought to attention because of the one clip they had in the opening to Miami Vice, where they had the dogs breaking from the box, which you were thinking that was so Miami back then. It was. Now that's real old school, where you had in the Miami News 2 pages of Tom Jicka's handicapping of the matinee and evening performance at Flagler Greyhound.
Oh my God.
It was vintage Miami.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. And then the highlight handicap also involving your good friend.
I missed the afternoon paper.
That was a good newspaper. I like that. I always like the alternative to the big guns. It seems like
They were better. I think they
Yeah.
were better, but
they had some really good writers, and that was often true. And
I'm Archdeacon.
Yeah.
Who else?
Marty Klinkenberg, our good friend, he's still doing it. He's like the main guy on the Maple Leafs beat for the Toronto Globe and Mail, which I think is that like, do they only have one newspaper in the whole country now? Is that what it is?
God.
No, because it's like your
You're
nation's
not going to Canada, are you?
No, I don't think it's
No, I don't know. I'm asking a real question. They call it the nation's newspaper. So
I feel like they have another paper.
do they have like some fish wrap in
No
Calgary
comment.
you can go pick up? I don't know. But Klinkenberg, yeah, he's still doing it at a very high level because you would imagine that's the most read beat that you could possibly have covering the Maple Leafs. No.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah. So no, that was good. The LA Herald Examiner was a great newspaper.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine if it's Edmonton in the finals?
Yeah. I mean,
to travel to Edmonton.
No, they did it last year. It was a pain in the ass.
yeah. I don't know that anybody will be sending anybody on the road, unless they can somehow grab.
What do you do there? What do you do there?
Probably a thriving city. I don't know.
You know,
I've lived in Western Canada.
I would go. You talked about Indianapolis.
Yeah.
We would go to Indianapolis to eat at Burns, and then take the road up. Take the road up the ways to South Bend.
Oh man!
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Yeah.
Another dump of a city if it wasn't for
For Notre Dame.
How many hours is it to Hawthorne Racetrack? That would be the question. Right there in the meatpacking district. Talk about degenerate ballparks. That was one of them. All right, Tony, what do you got in the plans here, Tony? Anything cooking of any?
No, just getting ready to go and gonna watch the game tonight and gonna watch the games tonight. It's gonna be a great night for watching, and that's about it. No.
All right, sounds good, my friend.
Love you, Mr.
All right, Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen. That's old school for this week. Tony Segreto. All right, I don't know that did we accomplish much on this show? No, not really. Your hockey analysis has become extremely astute.
I hope I'm right.
And I think worthy of being spread around the universe.
Okay. I don't know about that.
I see now. I love this position that Carolina is in because you want to see. I mean, obviously an unfavorable one in terms of the raw numbers. There, you're down 3 to bleeping 1, but. See, I mean, if you win this game, do you get inside? Does that start to change the whole psyche? I don't know about pressure so much, Louis. But
I don't know. This seems weird. The Panthers sort of thrive under these weird situations. Like that game 7 last year, I thought they maybe get blown out, and they played their best game since that game 3 in the Stanley Cup final. So I'd rather, as a fan, not let it get there. I mean, it definitely does switch the pressure back. Right now, I still think the pressure is obviously on the Hurricanes.
Sure.
It does switch it back to the Panthers a little. If you've lost 2 in a row, they've found their game, quote unquote. To me, okay, you messed around for 1 game, fine. Go finish the series. Like just get it done. We'll see if they can do that.
Blowout or not tonight?
It's when the team's fighting for their life in hockey.
4-1, 5-1, 5-2 type of game.
I don't know.
You know what we're looking at?
When the Hurricanes are literally fighting for their life, I can see the Panthers winning. And look, in the end, maybe they barrage it to the point where we see period 3 will open up. But I think it's going to be a tough game. Like the Hurricanes aren't going to we saw it in game 4. They're not going to just go away without a fight.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, Louis. We'll wish the boys luck in Carolina and see if they can finish off the series. They'd be awaiting the winner of the Dallas-Edmonton series, which right now has all been going Edmonton's way. As were they down 1-0 in the series and have won 3 in a row, I believe now.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's the way that one's gone. They were down 2-0 to the Kings, rattled off 4 in a row. Then continued running off 8 out of 9 in the postseason before losing to Dallas to open up their series. And now they bounce back with 3 straight wins. So it does look like we're heading for a rematch, Louis. A rematch which last year looked like it was all Cats until they got to Game 4, that pivotal Game 4, of course. And then what was the final in the Stanley Cup clinching Game 7, which the Panthers had the home ice. It was here in South Florida. After they had lost Game 6 on the road to Edmonton, schlepped all the way back here across the universe, across the continent. And was that like a 1-goal game?
2-1. Yeah, remember?
Oh.
Like, it was literally hanging in the balance the whole time to the point where the Panthers just stood in the corner for the last minute because they weren't taking any chances with Bob at all.
2-1 was the final in the 7th game.
2-1.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a dogfight. Like remember, the Panthers won the 3. Then the next 3, the Panthers played horrendous, and the Oilers just beat the crap out of them to the point where I was like, oh, I think they're going to lose this Game 7.
Incredible.
And then Game 7 was a freaking dogfight. Remember, the Panthers got like 2 goals that weren't pretty, but they were very happy to get them. I think the Oilers got one back, and then the Panthers just held on for dear life.
That's crazy, huh? Yeah, so I'd like to see it run back. I can't imagine either team will be able to put the other in a 3-0 hole in this rematch if it takes place, but we'll see. And a chance to clinch tonight. And of course, Edmonton will go for their clincher the night after. So teams, all 4 series that are alive in the NBA and the NHL have somebody facing a 3-1 deficit and possible elimination. So we'll see if those teams can put that final nail in the coffin, Lubie, and move on to what most people are anticipating, which would be now Indy and Oklahoma City. And, of course, the rematch for the Stanley Cup Championship that went 7. I mean, just a brutal. As I recall, that was some wild affair, the Game 7 with Edmonton and the Panthers last year. I thought it was like 4-3, but 2-1. A defensive struggle. We will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Mike Lubie, Tony Segreto, I'm Jeff DeForest. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
Oh, don't forget, this will post live today if all goes well. We'll have baskets. We'll analyze what's going on in the NBA with Eric Reed, play-by-play voice of the Miami Heat since their inception. And scheduled to also speak with Hockey Hall of Famer and probably the peskiest guy in front of the net in the history of the league, Lubie. Was it Dino or was it Phil Esposito, the last guy you'd want to see in front of the net?
That's before my time, but I heard Espo was really ridiculous.
Oh, he was just absolutely amazing up there with that blade. And all right, so Dino Cicerelli also scheduled to join us on that show. We'll get into some pucks with him. All right, thanks to Lubie and Tony Segreto. I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:01.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they brought.